welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Okay, so as you may have known, the title of my video is just going to be about my love life. So a lot of things have changed. I really don't talk about my personal life very often, but I decided to make a video. I kind of want to switch my channel up, kind of get more personal. So I'm just going to talk to you about my husband. So a little bit about me. I'm in the military. I'm active duty Air Force. I'm very new. I'm a new airman. I've just been in the Air Force like 9 months. I met my husband, at the time boyfriend. I met him literally right before the pandemic. We met December 2019, and then the pandemic happened, of course, 2 months later. So that brought us actually closer because we were able to really focus on each other. Everything was shut down. Everything was crazy. And at the time when I met him, I had actually got fired from a job that I was working at for over a year, where I held a managerial position. And I was going through a lot during that time. It was a wrongful fire for me, and I was just going through a lot. So I actually met him on an online dating site called Bumble. Shout out to Bumble. What's good? I actually met him on there. He seemed really nice. We chatted a few times, went out on a date. Our first date was actually at IHOP, which is his favorite place of all places. And I was like, you know what? He seems pretty nice. So just meeting a new person, having that blossom, and then my old job, losing that, pushing that to the side. And then I eventually started a new job like 2 months into us dating. I started working a job at a local bank, and I had already told my husband, my boyfriend at the time, look at me, my husband. Okay, period. You better say your husband, girl. But I had already told him at the time, like, you know, I've already started the process for the military, because when I had lost my job, I was like, I need money. Like, you know, unemployment at that particular time, that was before the pandemic. So unemployment wasn't really cutting it. I had real bills. And I was a single mom of a little boy. His name is Kingston. And it just wasn't cutting it for me. So I had already told him I've started the process of being in the military. You know, if you want to continue to talk to me, that's fine. That's great. And during this time, I had already been praying to God for a new job, praying that I find someone that is just someone to lean on, because at that particular time, I knew what my purpose was, which is to take me and my son for active duty and move. And I didn't want to meet a man and kind of make him feel no type of way, because I'm like, okay, I met you, bye. So if I met a good man that would be willing to stand by my side through that, and I would stand by his, that would be a great blessing. So, yeah. So I worked my job at the bank months and months and months. That process of being in the military, it took a lot longer than it normally would have took, because the pandemic struck. And when it struck, y'all know it struck bad. People were losing jobs and all this. But the God, he has been with me. I actually got a job right before the pandemic as well. The pandemic happened February, March. I literally started my job like February 2nd or 3rd of 2020. So everything just blew up right after that. And I was still dating him, and I deleted the app. I was like, you know what, like, it's a pandemic going on, so I was like, I'm just gonna focus on him. And that's what it was. Like, we still were just hanging out, going on dates, and then everything shut down, so we had to mainly focus on each other. We couldn't go out to restaurants and do fun things like that. Like, we had to get creative and FaceTime more, and it was just a lot. But I'm so thankful for him. And so much was going on in my personal life with the daycare. It was closing down because of all the little babies was getting sick, and he stood by me through that. He helped me with that. He just was really being a team player, and I was like, you know what, like this is cool. This is cool. So I eventually went to basic training, and for you guys that don't know, basic training is what they call boot camp, where you're there for with the military. We were there for like 2 to 3 months with the Air Force. I meant to say, where they're basically whipping you into shape. Like you don't have no phone, you can't call anyone. Only they can do is really write you letters. They might give you 1 or 2 phone calls, but they're literally like 4 or 5 minutes. Not really much. They really try to get you mentally prepared, physically prepared, everything like that. So he stayed with me through that, wrote me a couple letters. I called him as much as I could. At the same time, still trying to be a mom while I was there. Just a lot. So he just stood with me, and I really trusted him that he was going to have my back through everything. And when I got out of boot camp, they wished me away off to our technical training, where they're basically teaching you about your job. So I got pushed away in that, but with that, luckily, it was kind of like regular life again. I was able to have my phone. I really wasn't able to have visitors and stuff because of also the pandemic. So they wouldn't allow many people on base to come visit and stuff like that. So I was in my technical training for 2 months, but we were able to talk every day, FaceTime every day. It was still good. So all of that communication, we learned how to have a solid communication, because for months it was taken away. And then we were able to come back together, and it got stronger, and God just kept on speaking to me through that. And while I was at technical training, he kind of brought up like, hey, like, what if we get married? You know, like, I've been thinking about that. Like, do you know? And I was like, well, and so during that time, I hadn't got my assignment yet. And really what an assignment is in the military is when you're going to your first duty station, if you're active duty, they tell you what your assignment is going to be. Where are you going to go? Where does the military need you at that time for that particular mission? So I didn't know what state I was going to be at, what city, or even what country. I didn't know anything. I was still learning my job. So I was just like, is that something that you really want to do? Because I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know if they're going to have me locally or whatever. He just told me like, look, I want to be with you. I love you. I'm in love with you. And let's just ride it out, because he said I wouldn't feel comfortable trying to move where you are and we have no real commitment. I was like, you know what? You're the man for me. Thank you. Because I have been in past relationships where these men, they kind of expected a wife, but didn't want to be a husband, and they didn't want to make that real commitment. So for him to have that on his forefront, that really, really meant a lot to me, to just know that he was different. And I made the right decision by staying with him, because I actually, before I even went to boot camp, I even told him like, maybe we should break up, because I'm going to be gone a couple months and I don't want to be selfish and making you feel like you have to wait for me. So I just wanted to be fair overall. I just wanted to be a fair person. So then right after that, I got my assignment, and my assignment was an overseas assignment, actually to the UK. And I told him about it, and I was like, look, like, we're going to have to get married fast. We're really not going to be able to have a wedding. Like, when I go on my leave, we're going to have to get married on leave. But I told him, look, like, I still want you to propose to me and stuff like that. I still want to be surprised. So at this point, we had been dating 1 year and a couple months during this time. So I ended up going on my 10-day leave. That's how much the military gave me right after technical training. So I went home to Tennessee, where I spent time with my family. I got a chance to see my son, who I hadn't seen since I left. So it was 5 months I hadn't seen my son. And Oh, it was just great. Like I just was on a cloud nine. And then Father's Day. I'll never forget Father's Day. We had a dinner and everything. My dad came over. It was me, my siblings, my mom, my beautiful son. We all ate, and then I was outside watching my son play in the little sprinkler. And then my boyfriend at the time, he came out, he's like, babe. And then I turned around and he was like on one knee. And I just remember him saying, you know, I love you, right? And I just was like, uh-huh. And it was just so much going through my head because even though we had already talked about us getting married, it still was a surprise because I didn't know what day. And, you know, it was just beautiful. And so, yeah, so then like literally 3 days later, we went to the courthouse. What I didn't know was also because of COVID, you have to make an appointment. So we ended up going to the clerk's office in our local town in Tennessee, and they were like, oh, you have to make an appointment. So we're like, cool, boom. So we called to make an appointment. They're like, oh, well, we're booked up for like the next 2 weeks. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have 2 weeks. Like I literally had a plane that I had to catch like a few days later. So I was like, I don't have that. So I was like, well, what can I do? And then he was like, well, you just have to get an elected official. Someone that has been ordained to marry you guys. So I was like, well, why did I think of my dad? Like, I'm a PK, a preacher's kid, for those that don't know that slang. So I called him and he was just delighted. And I was just like, I should have thought of this before. So literally just a few close family members in my dad's living room. He gave us away. We were both so nervous and so excited. It was just a great day. I was just excited just to be with this man forever. And he loves me so much. I love him so much. 2 days later, I had to go. I had to go off to my assignment. So we really even haven't had time to really know what married people do, I guess, married life. So right now I'm actually in the process of waiting on him to come here, getting his passport, getting the green light from the military, so he can come here and be with me. So just really just waiting on that. I'm gonna really try to keep you guys updated with all these videos. It's a lot going on, but I just want to make a video just showing appreciation to my husband and just seeing how much he loves me. And one of the things he told me was he loves the way I love God, and he loves the way that I love my son, and that made him love me. And I have to love a man like that. I do. Like, he is meant for me. He's definitely my person. He's my soulmate, and I love him very much. So, babe, if you're watching this video, just know I'm trying not to cry because he knows I'm a real crybaby. So I'm going to wrap this video up. But yeah, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. We're still newlyweds, so if you are newlywed, please comment when you got married and what made you know that your spouse was the one. I really can't wait to see you guys' replies. And as always, talk to you guys later. Bye.